in 2019 jàpp 2020 ba 2021 like a sitting president koo xam ne dafa nekkoon member of UDP mu génn mu form a movement from a movement to a political party in 2025 sorry lu mel noonu xappunaat doo ki génn du nekkut a sitting president but a sitting mayor génnaat from UDP. And then in 2019, 2020, but 2020, lol bima happen affect no UDP because we ngeen election winu len. But 2025, lu mel non happenat. Talib gaina as a mayor, form movement bo xamne ñom ñu ne that movement will be turned to a political party. Yi ñu wara demat 2026 UDP wara taxawat. Ndax the same scenario do repeated like UDP ñakat election because of amna ko génn ci ñom wala this time loolu du happen.
No, loolu du happen. am nga 2020 so ñun 2021 gomuñ ne dañ lose election boobu.
IC loolu la wax
waaw IC loolu lañ wax loolu moo tax ñu yóbbu leen court and then judges yi through our case on technicalities ñun luñ gom mooy ne ñun ñoo gagné waaye MPP dañ sàcc suñ vote si.
nan lañ ko sàccee Mr. Chairman.
ñoom they would be the best people to explain that, how they did it. They don't want to disclose it. But we had evidence. Then I am a village. So they a Google map of the village. Then I am maybe about 10, 15 compounds. And then they bring, on the IEC data, there is about 2,000 people registered as voters in that village. It's about, each compound is having 100 and something people. Which 100 and something people, not only it's like 100 and something people over the age of 18. But that's what those are some of the evidence we presented in our court case. And we even shared it. We had registration of people, it happened after the official closing times. Loliep happened in 2021, Bananyo Egative, the 2021 election. So we had all of that evidence because the machines that were recording it read those ones. They see the registration was not happening, the people are being registered. We've seen all of that. So we didn't lose that election, it was stolen from us, it was rigged.
So you can go after election?
After election, because IEC didn't share the data. They gave us details. So do you see at the end of the month, they will say, we registered 250,000 people. The following month, 500,000 people. The following month, 750,000 people. 900,000 people. The problem, mistake bundalon, we were not recording the registration numbers, the amount of people registering on a daily basis at the different registration centers. We were only targeting our polling agents were instructed to look for people who are not eligible to be registered. So they will give people that they suspect are foreigners who are not supposed to be registered. Those are the ones they were taking the details of, rather than how many people have you got registered at your station. If we had known all of that, we would know how many were actually registered at official centers and how many were registered outside of official centers.
So I see data is not correct, and did you ask for it?
No, we asked for the data. Still now, our people haven't got the real data. You understand? They gave us data at the polling station with the master data, whatever. Yeah, they gave us that one before the presidential. But that is before the presidential. And that is after the court process. You gave us that one now. How do you expect us to be able to challenge that 2-3 days? In fact, when we got there, we were not, our attention didn't focus on this. It was after when the elections happened. And then we were like, nah, Limuntanek. Because you get even the UDP hardlands, we were beaten in those ends. How is that possible? You talk about Busumbala, you talk about Birikama, you talk about in Bakau and Sukuta and all these places. We were beaten in combos. Those are our bases. Those are our home grounds. I know MPP did a lot of work through the help of Keba Mahdi, Lamin Jata. They did a lot of work in those areas. Yes, they did. But the margin was not possible. We couldn't have lost that margin. We went to those places when we were campaigning. We've seen the numbers that were showing up at our campaign rallies. You cannot tell me those people just came just to fool us. It's not possible. And then you look at the percentage also. 90-something percentage turnout. It's not possible. Senegal, the Nyamon election, it was very tough. 64%. That's when the election is credible. That's where you look at the turnout margin. 54, 56,
so
60.
The turnout.
When you get a turnout of 100%, then you know that something is wrong with the system. It's just like Tanzania, the recent one, 97%. How is that even possible? It's not possible.
Okay. Some senior members resigned from your party.
Which one, the UDP?
UDP, yes.
No, I'm going.
Then resign, gain as a part of the campaign manager. But excuse me, Joe has a former campaign manager, more candidate be Lamun to Jai because of maybe that candidate is not sellable. Momunuko Jai. Because of since 1996, Nyunko Jai and then Muntu Jar, come unit election. Talib resigned. So you nek a member of that party. No ko yege ndax lolou du len affect.
No, Fogna, that is the best thing for the party at the moment. Because party be time gain bokon si party be. Jinga so buge sampam bolo si bir mbolo bi. They have been mbolo. That was what was happening. Talib wanted to build his own team. You hear camp. UDP was too much issue with camp. Camp Talib. And then the next minute, then in the camp Yankuba, it never exists. I didn't have no camp. They had a camp. Time you knew them, we have no camp. We have only one UDP. And we needed to have a united front for Nyumuna take on 2026 election. Without that, we cannot win that election. But Nyum, having been inside were distraction. They were only interested, I heard your interview with Pabi Lumwa. They have only one choice, and that is our candidate. Shunjelusun candidate will go out and form our own party. So that means Nyom, the salesman, was a bad salesman. He wasn't even selling the candidate. He was selling his own candidate. That's why he went with his candidate, Mune, because now he has a candidate he can sell. But when the candidate with him were in the party, with the candidate that we have, he said, I cannot sell that person. But he never declared that. For many, many years, that is, he could not sell that candidate. If anything, Lima Wahmoine, I believe we have a very good candidate with a very good track record. The problem is the people who are selling it don't want to sell the product that they have. But if you want to sell your product, you'll be able to sell it. Lulu, you can be able to sell it because who can you better sell easily in this country than Yahya Jammeh? Because any kerbunga dam si Gambia, ñom ñepp xam nañ kan moy Yahya Jammeh. They will tell you he's the opposition leader. He's been here for so long. You know what I mean? What they know him as opposition leader. What they don't know him yet is that of being the president of the country. But since then, have they had progress? That is the question. Because they are still struggling, country still going backward, the dollar is falling, price is increasing, and he's been telling them from day one, "Dema bëgg ngeen jox ñu chance, and then we change and transform this country." It's time that people realize, look, kii yàgg na di wax ñu def mun naa def lii, and then we are always going with the apprentice, because xam nañ ne Barrow apprentice Yahya Jammeh. He was his apprentice. Talib Kubuga Tahoni, he also was an apprentice. You know what I mean? So you, lo buga, denga buga apprentice munyo japala zi, munyo lifin la driver la, or you want the actual driver to do the driving. I think that is what should matter.
So you and Talib used to be maybe best friends? Comme niñ ko doon gisee ci politique bi, what has changed? Gis nañ fi football match organized, ñu dem ñu gis ñu bari jàpp ne KMC Mayo and BAC chairman bi relationship bi mu ngi neex ratax bot ñu toog rek gis chairman Mimbe Kering def interview boo xam ne like waaw So lu xew si diggante bi lu change balaa ay flag bearer issue bi yëpp di ñëw.
No, you know we were not best friends.
wax comme nu ko nit ñi gisee ñun noonu lañ
Yes,
ko
we were I would say we were colleagues.
Okay.
But we were not best friends because apart from those interactions that we have, we don't actually talk. We don't actually talk like Momo call ma or man ma call ko. No, that wasn't there. Do you see what I mean? And then come Lima explain me, for me, I believe Talib wanted me to be part of his camp. That's what I believe. That's what he wanted.
So the flow Musawa.
Well, he said something. He didn't come direct, but indirectly, he said something like that. Because he said one time when we went to his compound, he talked about me, him, and London. And London is a witness to this. That if we decide who should lead, that the next election will be decided by us.
Talib mo
Yes. He said that. London is a witness to that.
So you amlo dara loko after.
No. For me, I think both me and London advise that whatever we need to do, we shouldn't rush on anything. And what we need to do is we need to wait for me, I always tell them that we need to try our level best to make sure we get Papi in. You know what I mean? Because I know with the camp business, anyone that comes in there, it would have been a crisis. Many people would have gone, and then some people would be discouraged from supporting. It would have been very difficult for the party because it's how the whole camp thing was going on. It wasn't healthy. It was very bad. It was bad. So now that we closed that chapter in the party, I think now the party can breathe a sigh of relief and move forward. And they need to be able to move forward in order to win the election in this country. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, just like I said, I believe that was the main thing. They needed West Coast. They need to win West Coast to win the presidency. But this was part of their grand scheme of things, of literally imposing yourself as president of the country. And that's what I complain about on Pamodu. That's why I said what they're doing, if they succeed at that, I would not be, with good conscience, would not support them. I would have to leave the party on that, because that's what I said. I said, if they continue that way and the party allowed that, it makes no difference to what Barrow did. And then we condemn Barrow, we went after Barrow, and they're repeating the same thing, and you expect us to support that. Then we all have to go and apologize to Barrow. You see what I mean? Because that's not how it's supposed to be done. And then we heard what Pabi said. He even went to Pabi Mune, I want to have a mile or something between me and my
political rivals.
If you want a fair play, you don't do that. You allow your party to choose who they want to choose. You don't just start 100 miles ahead of everybody. Cheats do that. Cheats. They cheat like that. Not fair people who believe in fair play. You don't do that. You go with everybody. And then you allow people to have a chance. Even if you have 100 miles, if you go to IEC, you're not going to have 100 miles ahead of everybody. It's going to be the same. So you have to be willing to compete. When I came to West Coast, I competed with 15 people. In the campaign, I competed with 9 people. But I believe in that competition. I don't believe I should be cheating, I should be ahead of, no. I believe that the people of West Coast should be given a choice. And they have to make that decision. And I think Gambian people need to be given that choice. And the UDP too people need to be given a choice so that they can make the right choice. 2017, we came with Barrow. I'm not sure whether we made the right choice because Barrow ended up forming his own party. You see what I mean? Did we have other choices? I think we probably did. But you can also understand the climate then. Our whole party executive were in prison. Many other people are not willing or a bit scared to come and contest. And you got to give credit to Barrow. He was bold enough to say, I'm going to go with it. He did, even though he went under the table, ran the left, right, and center, but at least we were able to get him to contest. That was something you have to give credit to. But at those times, where is everybody that are now trying to say, I have to be the right candidate, I am the sellable one, I am the one who is going to win. No, I don't think that is the right thing.
Okay.